We all know what Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism are. But you gotta admit, people from the outside looking in find some of each religion's practices kinda bizarre, and these are the mainstream religions. Imagine what bizarre things are hidden inside lesser-known sects. Number 1 is an exception though, which became well known for all the weird going-ons associated with it. Stay tuned and find out what it is as we bring you 10 bizarre religions that actually exist. Number 10. Iglesia Maradoniana. Have you ever heard someone say, "Sports is my religion"? Well, here's a group of guys and girls that took that statement too seriously. Many years ago, 3 grown men from Rosario founded the Iglesia Maradoniana to praise the love of football legend Diego Armando Maradona above all things. Since Maradona is God, then our era begins on the day of his birth. Therefore, according to the Church of Maradona, this is the year 61 DD, or Después de Diego, or after Diego, of course. The Maradonian Church boasts approximately 500,000 worshippers worldwide, a number which is not at all surprising considering the millions of football fanatics worldwide. Heck, they even have their own set of 10 commandments. This includes declaring unconditional love for Diego and the beauty of football, spread the news of Diego's miracles, make Diego your middle name, and name your first son Diego. Riveting. Oh, I almost forgot. I love football above all else. So, do they do baptisms by dunking babies in Gatorade, or do they throw them over a football ring? That's a legitimate question on my end. Number 9. The Cult of John Frum. During the Second World War, many so-called cargo cults were formed, especially in remote islands in the Pacific. A cargo cult is a pseudo-religion that is based on a promise of some Caucasian soldier to native islanders to bring back a variety of things from the West. This includes such things as radios, TV, trucks, chocolate, and of course, Coca-Cola. Almost all of these cults have since faded into obscurity, except for one. The Cult of John, based in the island of Tanna in the South Pacific nation of Vanuatu. At the center of this cult is a man called John Frum, who was believed to be an American GI who was stationed on the island during the war. Cult members believe that John will come back one day, and with him will come a cargo filled with Western food and equipment. They're apparently gonna fall from the sky on parachutes, which is likely how American soldiers stationed at the island received their supplies.
Be blessed, my children. I have come back bearing your cargo. Please take my gifts of iPhones, Android, and Xbox 360s. I would have sprung for Ones or Series X, but, well, I'm cheap.
Members also believe that John lives in the crater of Yasur, a tiny active volcano on Tanna, and that one day John Frum is gonna come down from his fiery home to live with the people, bringing their beloved cargo. That's gonna be some hot Xbox 360s right there. Number 8. The Universe People. Universe People, or Cosmic People of Light Powers, is a Czech and Slovak UFO religion founded in the 1990s and centered around Ivo A. Benda. Their belief system is based upon the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations communicating with Benda and other contactees since October of 1997 telepathically and later even by direct personal contact. They're considered to be the most distinctive UFO religion in the Czech Republic. According to Benda, those civilizations operate a fleet of spaceships, led by Ashtar Shirin, no relation to Ed, unfortunately, orbiting the Earth. They closely watch and help the good and are waiting to transport their followers into another dimension. The Universe People's teachings incorporate various elements from UFOlogy, Christianity, and conspiracy theories. Members of the movement distrust modern technologies and control mechanisms of the society. They consider mass media to be a tool of oppression and manipulation. But isn't promising the good people a transport? You know what, never mind. Despite this, Benda often seeks contact with journalists to tell his ideas to the public. They often have problems with copyright infringement because Benda has declared that the only copyright owners are the universe creatures, who do not consider its respecting important. The movement also wants to abolish money, and yet I bet you anything they still ask for donations. Number 7. The Prince Philip. For decades, Prince Philip has been one of the more colorful figures in Britain's royal family. Prone to jarring remarks and quips about women, the deaf and overweight children, he once told a kid who wanted to be an astronaut that he was too fat to become one. Now he has officially retired from public duties, and certain people from a South Pacific nation called, you guessed it, Vanuatu, hopes that the prince will now have time to be with them. This is because, you see, Prince Philip is worshipped there as a god and even has a religion based on him. Vanuatu just sounds like all sorts of fun. Followers of the Prince Philip movement, which started in the 1960s, believed that the prince was born to fulfill an ancient prophecy, that the son of an ancient mountain spirit would one day take the form of a pale-skinned man, travel abroad, marry a powerful lady, and eventually return to the island. When villagers saw the prince's portrait, they felt the spirit in it, and when he visited Vanuatu in 1974, they were all but convinced. True believers assign large world movements to the machinations of Philip. They once claimed his powers had enabled a black man to become president of the United States, and also that his magic had assisted in helping locate Osama bin Laden. The community has corresponded with Buckingham Palace and even sent Philip a nal nal, a traditional club for killing pigs, as a token of its appreciation. And in return, he sent a portrait in which he's holding the gift. Wouldn't be surprised if he sent in orders in that too. Execute Order 1776. Number 6. Raëlism? Word. 49-year-old Hyper-Adabi P.S. Anand Prakash precisely remembers when and where he was hooked up to an alien computer, having his brainwaves scanned. According to the retired software professional, it happened on August 6 of 2016 in Mumbai. Since the incident, every time he raises his eyes to the heavens, he doesn't invoke any god, and believe me, India has a lot of them, but rather an alien species called the Elohim. It sounds like a work of science fiction, but it really isn't. Brainwave scanning is a vital ritual in the religion called Raëlism. Raëlism, also known as Raëlism, is a UFO religion that was founded in the 1970s France by Claude Vorahan, also known as Raël. Raëlism teaches its followers that the Elohim are the ones who created humanity with the use of their advanced alien technology. It holds that throughout history, the Elohim have created 40 Elohim human hybrids who have served as prophets, preparing humanity for news about their ultimate origins. Among those listed as prophets are the Buddha, Jesus of Nazareth, the Muhammad, with Raël himself being the 40th and final prophet. Number 5. Rastafarianism. Rastafari is a young, Africa-centered religion which developed in Jamaica in the 1930s, following the coronation of Haile Selassie I as King of Ethiopia in 1930. Rastafarians believe Haile Selassie is God, that he will return to Africa members of the black community who are living in exile as the result of colonization and the slave trade. Rastafari theology developed from the ideas of Marcus Garvey, a political activist who wanted to improve the status of fellow blacks, but gained widespread attention when famous musician Bob Marley became a Rastafarian. There are approximately 1 million worldwide adherents of Rastafari as a faith. The 2001 census found 5,000 Rastafarians living in England and Wales. Followers of Rastafari are known by a variety of names: Rastafarians, Rastas, Sufferers, Locksmen, Dreads, or Dreadlocks. Number 4. Vampirism. Mainstream society may not consider this next entry on our list as a legitimate religion, mainly due to the gruesomeness of some of the rituals involved, but all of its members disagree with this perception. Today, there is a worldwide community of human vampires, or real vampires, as scholars typically call them. Real vampires aren't undead, nor are they immortal, nor can they be weakened by garlic or vanquished by silver. In fact, they're biologically typical in almost all ways, except in how they get part of their nourishment. This is from human and animal blood, or by draining psychic energy, whatever that means. Not to worry though, my fellow YouTubers. I've found a different solution since crosses, holy water, and everything else won't work. It's pretty simple. Oh, but I kid. Mostly. Blood feeding is the main ritual in this religion, but fortunately biting is no longer involved, nor is it done anywhere near the neck. Modern vampires use a ritualistic knife to cut a small incision on the blood donor's arm. That blood is then collected in a glass, then drank fresh. Gone are the fanged, stereotypical vampires of the past, replaced by people who generally look like any other person. And although they aren't really afraid of sunlight, most of them prefer to sleep during the day and are active at night. Nowhere do they sleep in coffins, though. They might sparkle still, though. Number 3. Pastafarianism. Who doesn't like spaghetti? Very few people would turn down a hearty bolognese, but how many would dare to wear a pasta strainer in public? Well, the thousands who belong to Pastafarianism, that's how many. Pastafarianism, officially known as the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, is more of a social movement that promotes a lighthearted view of religion. Yes, you heard me. These guys worship a flying spaghetti monster. As a pioneer of early memeism, this really doesn't surprise me. This religion started out as an open letter by then-student Bobby Henderson to the Kansas School Board. The letter demanded that the theory of intelligent design, and more specifically, the theory of the flying spaghetti monster, should be taught to students along with theories of evolution. Seen by some as a satire against religion, the adherents claim that satire is intrinsic to religion. Heck, in fact, it actually is legally recognized as a religion in the Netherlands and New Zealand, where Pastafarian representatives have been authorized to celebrate weddings, where the first legally recognized Pastafarian wedding was performed in April of 2016. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's pick is a religion taken straight out of a movie screenplay. What movie and what religion? You probably already figured it out by the thumbnail. Number 2. Jediism. A religion inspired by George Lucas's Star Wars, Jediism was founded by Daniel Jones and his brother Barney in 2008. At first glance, the religion seems to be nothing more than a bunch of wannabe Jedis dressing up on their way to Comic-Con, but there actually is more to it than that. Although followers of Jediism acknowledge the influence of Star Wars on their religion by following the moral and spiritual codes demonstrated by the fictional Jedi, they also insist their path is different from that of the fictional characters, and also that Jediism does not focus on the myth and fiction found in Star Wars. Those who take Jediism seriously value the idea of the Force as energy for good in the world, though they do dismiss the reality of Darth Vader, Jawas, a planet called Tatooine, and the ability to move objects or people using the Force. It's not that they believe the Star Wars materials to be factual, but that they find the concept of the Force to be a religious or philosophical guide to life. You know, that's actually a lot better than I expected it to be. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Scientology. I mean, could there be any other religion out there worthy enough to occupy number 1 on this list? This religion has gained a very bizarre reputation. It's actually kind of hard to decide where to begin. Founded by writer L. Ron Hubbard, the religion has been involved in a ton of controversies too numerous to enumerate here. Let's just focus on some of the things that make this group truly bizarre. Well, let's start with this one. They believe that all humans evolved from clams. Yes, that's actually true. Their founder argues that the hinges on clamshells evolved to become human mouths. But by far, one of the weirdest Scientology practices is auditing. Auditing is one of the central practices of Scientology, in which practitioners are cleared of negative influences called engrams to heighten spiritual awareness and access untapped potential. The Church of Scientology has stated that the procedure is 100% effective as long as it is done properly and the recipient is truly seeking change. And also happily, and conveniently for the Church of Scientology, auditing is also wildly expensive. It's estimated that reaching clear costs about $128,000. Wham bam, it's a scam, thank you ma'am. Would you be willing to join any of these bizarre religions? Let us know in the comments down below. Want to watch more amazing videos about the weird and wonderful? Click on any of the videos you see on your screen. As always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.